Hey, good morning. That is one of the things I learned at GenCon. I must project my voice. Things I did learn at GenCon was that I do really need to learn to speak up. You know, I am from the era where, as children, young adults, new adults, I was always told, you should be quiet, be seen, but be quiet. Don't do small. Do not do small when you're at an event. I dressed steampunkish to help stand out amongst the other authors, and there were many that were just in shorts and tank tops. Others were in, t-shirts and jeans. So I thought I would have a little bit of an edge by being dressed steampunk-ish. I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I do know, because I did not consistently project my voice, it did hurt me. Let's see. There are people there who will waste your time. Allow them to move on. When they're telling you their life story, or, okay, yes, I realize you need to make people feel important, but those who are just telling you their life story, they're not going to buy. And you are at that event to sell your books. So allow them to just mosey right on, and always stay focused on selling your book. Because as an author, and you're behind a table that you spent good money for, yes, you can use, if they freely give you their life story, you can freely use any tidbit of that in your next book. But you're not there to collect information. You have enough stories already in your head. Right? Do you need help coming up with a new idea? You've already got them. So let them move on. Another thing was, it was different professionals approaching the table that wanted to know if we wanted to write for them. Okay, but give me information. Don't tell me you're going to take my card back and talk to your people. If you are a professional that approaches another professional, have it listed out what you want. Now, our table was loaded with books. I'm going to insert that right here. It was rough keeping the books on the table. They kept jumping off. Granted, we had display copies up, and the books we sold was laying flat. But each time people approached and the books fell off the table, They didn't want to approach too close. So, what I learned, take your first in series, possibly your second in series. Put your first in series on the table. Or even, like the plate stackers, have book one, 2, 3, 4, and then move on to another one. If you want to display all your books. The kids next to us had 2 books, and they had 2 dish racks that allowed them to place 4 books on each end of the table. So we will, get into finding our rhythm. You should always have your prices so that they can be seen. We did not. We didn't have room on the table. Let's see. There was three authors at this event. And we had an anthology. Now, one would have thought you hit the anthology first, so everybody wins at the table. That was not always done. Sometimes you heard about this author or this author first, and the after effect was the anthology. Okay, so if you're working as a collab, when you're making your sales and your presentation, present the collab first and then move on to the individuals. On the table, there was something that was not like the others. That was me. I was not going to take my other pen name because it really didn't fit in. We had 3 out of 5 chili peppers here, 4 out of 5 chili peppers here, and as one of the authors said, then we have Wendy's chili. Tasty, but not spicy. So, even though my books did not fit, and I only took 3 books. 4 if you call, I got some in my eyes, sorry about that. 4 if you count the fact that I brought hardbacks. But that was of my alter ego. So, think about what and we did sell out of the anthology, even though it was an afterthought, sometimes. We did sell out of it. We sold out of the paperback first, and then we sold out of the hardback second. It was exclusive to the venue, to the event. It will not become available until the 12th. And here it is. Blood and Lust has 2 vampire stories, 1 wolf shifter story, and it represented all of our writing at the spicy level. We did become known as the smut table. and people would come up to us and kind of go, are you the smut table? Is this the smut corner? Yes, we are. To our left, we had a fantasy of a young princess, children's or young adult. And then to the right, we had more of a high fantasy author. So we were strategically placed at Oh, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't strategically. We were at table. Oh! And we used that to market on TikTok. What else did we have? Oh, the fact that I just need to be more social. I needed to be more social there. I also need to be more social on social media. I need to do more TikToks. I need to do more Facebook, whatever. I need to, add it to IG. I have good intentions, and then they do not come to fruition. And that's not good. So, there's that. What else was there? As a collab, our first 2 days, sorry folks, I really do have something in my eye and I don't know what it is. All right, okay, I couldn't find anything in my eye, but it still feels like it's there. Okay, so as a collab, one thing we did find out, and we finally did get into the rhythm about day 3, was talking over each other. We'd get so excited, we wanted to add stuff. I began hanging back, again, this projecting. I began hanging back and letting my 2 co-authors of the anthology speak, because they speak louder than I do, and I felt like they had more to say. All I wanted to do was say, hey, well, I don't mind talking about my books, but I wanted to showcase the anthology first. We wrote this. So when I would step back, I would not step completely away from the table, because I wanted to continue. Let me see here. I wanted to continue tapping or pointing sort of at the book. Must have put my other one away. So anyway, I took that book and I took it in hardback. And then people would say, oh, I'll get it on Amazon. Okay, but I took it off Amazon. I went totally wide and I removed my books. Not only did I take them and archive them on Amazon, I unpublished them on Amazon. If you're an author, you need to know this. I then had people come back and say, but look, it's still available. Now, it has not been published on Amazon since the 14th. That's almost half a month. No one should have been able to buy an ebook other than from me with a code. No one should have been able to buy an actual book from any other place than our table. And yet, somehow, my books were available. Now, by day 4, it said that my books were unavailable. They were out of print and unavailable. But until then, so if you are an author who has decided to unpublish, to archive and unpublish, just beware that it isn't always that way. The next event I have is this coming weekend. So Friday, I will be at the Northwest Ohio Writers event. I'm going to think about that. So we will be at the Eastwood Mall in Niles, Ohio. Aaliyah will have her books and I will have mine. Our third writer is Danielle Williams, and she lives in Michigan, so she will not be part of this. And I'm going to say, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Oh, hey, before I forget, let me be social and tell you that I can be found as Jori Reeves Author on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Please follow.